What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. This is a really long overdue video. I am talking today about my Tungsten Single Plex. It's a 5-watt Plexi. Let me get some housekeeping out of the way first, and then we'll get into the stuff. If you enjoy these videos, please join me on Patreon. The backing track from the opening jam, and there'll be another backing track later, are on there. I have backing tracks, new ones, 4 to 7 times a week, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the way I'm trying to fund this. If you take lap steel lessons too, if you're looking to learn lap steel, I have lap steel lessons on YouTube, and the lesson materials are also on Patreon. Today's gear, I'm using a Apocalypse Machine lap steel. I build these, not currently for sale, but again, trying to figure out how I'm gonna make a living. So here we go. And Righteous Sound pickups. Obviously the Tungsten Single Plex. And I'm going into a 2 Notes Audio Captor X. Now, I just saw a video about, I think it's Supro has released a new amp that has the 2 Note stuff in it. And people are very excited about that. I think that's great. That's not how I would want it. First of all, I have the 1 2 Notes thing. I also have a Sur Reactive Load IR. And any of the amps can go into either of those. So that's super helpful for me. I like to have that. And then also, this amp is completely hand-wired. And I think I have some images of the inside somewhere, so I'll try to put them up here if I do. This is a totally hand-wired amp. And it's on turret board. It's not, there is a circuit board inside for the effects loop, which I'll get to. But like, this is built in the old school style. It's bulletproof. And it's just like, if something actually does go wrong, you can fix it really easily. It's not on circuit boards that are just a pain to work on. This is what I'm looking for in an amp. This is an old school build, turret board, point to point, big old capacitors, big old resistors, big, super functional stuff that's easy to work on and easy to replace if I ever need to do that. So, let's get into the amp. Let's get into why it's here, why I love it, what happened. So Adam, who is Adam at Tungsten, Adam Padlo? I don't know. Adam at Tungsten. There's also Adam Grimm at Satellite. Don't get them confused, although Adams make good amps. I was talking to Adam. I have his 5-watt Mosaic. And a lot of times I've used, this is my DCC Plexi, and I have this this Tweed Deluxe down here from Black Volt, and I'll use those two in stereo. But I needed something that was less loud, and especially today's environments, stage volume. People want quieter stage volumes. I want to use a cranked tube amp, and some of my favorite sounds are Plexis, right? Whether it's Hendrix or Angus or whoever, it's like, man, like a cranked Plexi to me is the sound of rock and roll. If you have a 50 or 100 watt Plexi, you ain't cranking that anywhere. Like it's just I'd have to re drywall the room if I did it in here, and there's no stage that I'm playing. I'm not playing stadiums, so there's no place for me to crank a Plexi. A 5-watt Plexi, all of a sudden I can crank it. And when I hear about things like pedal platforms, pedal platform amp. Every amp is a pedal platform. It's just that some platforms are a little more character-y than others, right? So at the beginning of the video, what you heard was my Espresso Effects Germanium Fuzz and my R Weaver Univibe. It's a violet vibe. Which is awesome. And right. And my wrought iron effects spring reverb. So let me just turn all that off first. We'll get into all of it. We're gonna get into all of it. But my bass tone right now, and then I'm gonna get into the clean channel. I'm gonna do the whole thing. But what you heard when I started was that's just the amp. Which is such an awesome rock and roll tone. I love that tone. And I can clean it up if I go to my bridge pickup, my neck pickup, roll the volume back. Right, so I'm already in a place that's for me, a really accessible and a really, there's a lot of options from like really rocking to. Right, and it's that plexi that I hit my, I have my pedal board here. We'll go through it at some point. But point is, that's like a big, meaty tone, and that's the sound I want. That's the sound I'm looking for, rock and roll. And so the idea of going into like a super high headroom amp with then like a distortion pedal to try to get that sound, to me, is not what I'm looking for. If you are, that's great. If you're doing the worship stuff and you need like a super clean sound with like a ton of reverb, that's great. That's not what I'm doing. I'm doing some rock. And so a cranked plexi is the sound. A 5-watt plexi puts me at a reasonable volume that I can run it on stage. I like to have this cranked and then have my 5-watt champ cranked through a 2x10 Weber cab. And it's awesome. So that all being said, today we're going through the 2 notes thing so I don't blow up my microphone. All right. So let's start with this. The way plexis work and the way this plexi works. I asked Adam, I said to him, I want a 5-watt plexi and I want it to have a 6cm6 in the power section. Can you do that? And he said, let me look into it. And then he called me back and said, sure. So what a 6cm6 is it's a 9-pin bottle with a little bit lower voltage ability than like a 6V6. Okay. I wanted a weird tube because I love to run this thing pretty hot, and I like to hit those tubes pretty hard. And so there's 2 things. If you do some research, you can find out like why. But like older tubes are a little hardier and can take a little more punishment than a newer tube. So that's part of it. And then also is this, a small single-ended plexi, if you were going to use traditional tubes like an EL84, a new one, like a, say, Electro Harmonics one, is this price. I'm going to look them up and I'll put them up here. And then like a new old stock one is here, right? And then a 6V6, like here's a new one, like a JJ or whatever, Electro Harmonics, different quality tubes. And then obviously like a new old stock 6V6. I can get black plate, RCA, like old rad tubes for this thing for $5 each. So that's what I've got. I've got a black plate RCA tube in there at the moment. It's point-to-point hand wired and it's awesome. So this is what I'm looking for in an amp. But let's go through the channels. So the way a plexi works is a lot of times you'll hear the rock stuff, you'll hear the channels jumped, right? So I'm using this cable. I'll put it over here. I'm using this cable here to jump from input 1 to input 2. So here's just the high, let's start with the normal channel. Here's just the normal channel, and we're on like just over 2. Right, on my bridge pickup, which is a humbucker again, it's a little bit dirty. That's a sound that I love. And again, if I hit that with fuzz face, and that's off. Okay. So I'm going to get into that in a second. So fuzz face into a totally clean amp, it can be really ice picky and awful. And a fuzz face is one of my go-to pedals. It's the first pedal I look for to fit on my board. And I have a number of options, and I have a whole fuzz face video. But you can't go into, you can do whatever the hell you want. Going into a clean amp creates a really harsh fuzz sound, where this is a big... awesome fuzz sound, and again, at a reasonable volume. If I was on a stage and that was my sound, and I had that amp behind me, no sound guy is complaining about how loud I am, and I can have this sound that sounds massive. Okay, let's turn it up. So this neck pickup, totally clean, right? Different outputs, obviously, on different pickups are going to give you different sounds, but right, really clean sound. Okay, now it's on 5. I'm not going to give you the whole sweep. You should get an idea, right? We went from just above 2 to 5. Still not crazy dirty there. Now we're getting a sound that I love. Right? It starts to remind you of some old Stones, of that 60s rock, and then if I hit it with a fuzz face. And also my Kaslitter Toxic Twins. This is the Tube Screamer side. Right, just hitting it, and it drives up pretty high too. But it feels good to me. And finally, how about the Bad Bob boost? So this is just a bunch of extra gain on the front end. Right, no boost. Bad Bob. It's just magic. And then how about all the way up? Let's hit it with the Bad Bob now. All the way up and a boost. Pretty awesome, right? Now, the other thing is I had Adam put in an effects loop. I don't know if he's doing this on all of them. This is the single. This one is the prototype. I think it's the prototype. I asked him for this. I think he's making some other lower wattage plexis now. So you know, hit him up. Tungsten Amplification, tungstenamp.com. I'll put it up here, and obviously in the description. Whatever, it's fine. This is an awesome amp. But he's making a bunch of them. He'll make you whatever you want. You know what I mean? For money. I paid for this, by the way. He didn't give this to me. I bought this. I asked him for it, commissioned it, bought it, and now we're doing the video. So I added an effects loop because my initial desire was to be playing it at home. And I didn't intend to gig with it. It's been 15 minutes already? Okay, cool. Gonna be a long video. I didn't intend to gig with it. But I said, you know, I want to put this... I have this amazing reverb unit, which... Okay, that amp is... That's there. This is a Chevy valve cover from like the 50s. And it was built by Wrought Iron Effects. There we go. Wrought Iron Effects. And Ed over at Wrought Iron Effects built me that, and it's awesome. And again, it's not a super clean, pristine, high definition spring reverb. It's a dirty, cool, vibey reverb. But in the effects loop, and I don't know how it sounds when I have it cranked, but oh. So having a little bit of reverb in the effects loop, spring reverb, there's just nothing like it. So it's a Plexi with a spring reverb now, and I can put whatever I want in the effects loop. But, you know, for my use, usually it's a spring reverb, and I can take that to gigs, and I can do it. I can also run a reverb in the front if it's a whole thing. Whatever. Fine. Spring reverb. No reverb. Right? Spring reverb. The reverb just fills it out real nice. Let's go to the high treble channel. Now, the normal channel is nice and beefy. The high treble channel is really thin. Here it is just above 2. Right? Doesn't have a ton of beef there. I could hit it with like a compressor. For some reason my compressor was off. This is an Empress effects compressor. It's pretty thin sounding. It'd be great as like a backup. I mean, I could use that on the intro to something, but I don't think I would go to that by itself, and it's not really known. Plexis are not known for their low volume, high treble channel sounding particularly good. However, let's turn it up to 5. Now we're starting to get into that territory of stuff that like we've heard that's starting to sound. Right, we're starting to get to that place. And look, I don't think you're gonna get that out of a pedal. Like that sort of like edge-of-breakup kind of that dirty in between sound. But here again, on 10, there's the Plexi sound. Right, that's the high treble channel on 10. We haven't even messed with the controls, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. I think that the EQ goes into the preamp section. I think it's before. So everything is on 10. I'm not jumped, so it's just the high treble channel. Everything's on 10, full Bill and Ted style. I mean, that's vintage, like Marshall Tucker Band and old Aerosmith and obviously AC/DC. Like, it's got that sound. What an awesome sound. Now, I'm pulling some bass out and the presence down a little bit. That's better for me, right? But to me, the sound of a Plexi, okay, there we go. Both volumes are all the way down. To me, the sound of a Plexi, the way that I use this particular amp is both channels jumped 90% of the time. So what that means, if you're looking at this here, and I'm taking this thing, and I'm coming out, I'm in input 1, the high input. I'm coming out of the low input into the high input of channel 2. And it blends the two channels. Now, if I wanted to, here's both channels on 10 just because that's the best. So both channels on 10. I mean, that's so good. And then hit it with a boost. You know, come on. That's that's such a good sound. But I think, you know, the way I run it, obviously the way I ran it this morning, or whatever, when I started this with the opening jam. Both were on around 8. And it's interesting how the controls interact. You know, it's I turn that treble up and it kind of scoops everything a little bit and gets weird. But you know, so here's an interesting thing too. As I just go through this, I'm losing a lot of treble. It's obviously lovely here. So I think this guitar probably doesn't have a treble bleed circuit in it. It might need one. This is one of those things that I add them as they're needed. I'm gonna just change guitars. Now, some of my guitars have them, some don't. Already you can hear this is obviously it's a P90. This is a Righteous Sound Bluebird. This is a Fralin noiseless P90. Does not have the output that humbucker had. Which is fine. Go to my neck pickup. To me, that's a more pleasing neck pickup sound with the volume rolled back. Does this pickup have a treble bleed circuit in it? I don't know. It's a different style pickup, and so it sounds different. But that's a great sound. Not great playing. It's a great sound. I had to redeem myself after what just happened. And then, you know, I'll go to here. And that has a great... Right now, I can bring them down to 6. They're still jumped. And you can see that this is a great pedal platform. I can really get... I can get pretty clean. We can add some reverb and some delay. And obviously, I'm gonna do a whole video on the pedal board, but that's a wonderful audio technology Agent Echoes, which lives on my board, and the Jam Delay Llama, which is an analog, I know words, analog delay, and it also lives. I mean, they're just, that's so much verb, but set my verb more appropriately. You know, even great rock and roll sounds. And then, let me turn the delay off. And we still have the reverb, obviously, from this in the effects loop. And then, again, hitting it with a tube screamer. And this is not a tube screamer. This is a Caslitter Toxic Twins. It's kind of a souped-up tube screamer. This is rock and roll. This is, here's the Bad Bob again. Right? Like that's just the Plexi cranked up and just screaming, and I'm hitting those tubes hard. My camera's overheating. It might go. We'll see. If it does, then you'll see the cut. But the point is, now you have the channels jumped. This is where a Plexi shines, and again, to me, turned up to 8. Right, hit it with the fuzz face again, the espresso germanium fuzz. So this is my happy place. This is what I'm looking for in an amp, and this is a Plexi that does it at a reasonable volume. I don't know why I'm yelling at you, but it's what I do. It's my move. Let's add a little, again, the vibe. And again, this, if you had a pedal platform, I would have to have distortion or overdrive after my vibe to get this same sound, which is a dirty amp getting hit. The fuzz is going into the vibe, into the dirty amp. So it's like having fuzz, univibe, and then some sort of an overdrive pedal. So look, everybody's got to do the thing that inspires them. But I'm telling you now, amp distortion, to me, a dirty amp is where I start. That is my pedal platform. It makes me happy. This is 5 watts. It's a great volume for a pedal platform. I can play it at home, and again, on stages, if I need to be louder, they're going to mic it anyway. And it's definitely louder than anybody singing at the top of their lungs. So it's perfect. This is perfect for me. It's the way I rock. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope if you're interested, you'll at least call Adam or email him or go to the website and look at his offerings, because he makes really cool stuff at a great price, and it's all made here in the USA. So that's what I'm looking for. Oh, the amp one went down. Well, hopefully you saw the things you needed to see. Thanks for hanging.